her drink, nuns, premature ejaculation, breastfeeding, and farts.
This is PTR Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous entire web. Oh, I'm tired. I'm just tired. As my father would say, I'm sick and tired, but I'm just tired. It is another Monday, and we're back on the air. Welcome, everybody. You made it through yet another 2 weeks. A little bit later in the show, we're going to have a lot of things to talk about. During the beginning, maybe not so much because we're just getting warmed up. Towards the end, we'll talk about 2 movies. In the middle, who knows? That's going to round out.
We're going to be all over the map. I can guarantee it. We are going to be all over the map tonight.
I'm sure.
Yep.
I mean, you know, it's
the name of the show.
Looking at our white list for tonight's show, you know, it's going to be literally everything but the bagel. So, I mean,
we may even talk about the bagel.
Oh God, my wife. You know what she was upset that we could. The biggest thing she was upset that we couldn't come out to New Jersey and visit you, Mike, this year was that I wasn't going to be able to bring her back bagels. She didn't care about anything else. She didn't really care that you know the trip wasn't going to happen. But what she cared about was I wasn't going to be able to bring her back bagels.
Hold on, because what the hell just happened?
I don't know.
I may be able to hook you up here. I have to check this out. Because I started following a place that's a couple of towns down from me on Instagram, and I swore that they posted something up the other day that they ship. And if they do, I'm going to share this link with you because these folks are goddamn mad scientist geniuses when it comes to bagels.
Oh, okay.
Where the hell? All right, let's just try this.
Well, since you talked about mad food scientists, I know what we're going to start off with tonight. And it's just going to make you mad. It's always good to start off the show by making Mike mad.
Go ahead. I got plenty of alcohol right over here off screen. Go right ahead.
Yep. We'll talk about this, and then we'll make us a drink. So, Mike, this is one that you actually brought up. Now, it wasn't that long ago that it was Halloween. And everybody knows some of the best candy comes out at Halloween. I think if you really want to pull a trick on somebody, you get some of this for next Halloween. Vegan Kit Kats.
I will fight every single one of you people.
You know.
There is no reason. Listen, if you choose to be vegan, if you choose to be non-meat, non-dairy, then you forfeit the right to have anything resembling candy bars. Go eat your carob. Go eat your coconut, whatever. You can't have Kit Kats. Quit kowtowing to the damn vegans.
Okay, so I don't know what makes up a wafer. All right, I have no idea what wafer is made of. But chocolate is just, I mean, cacao is a bean, right?
Yeah.
It's
yep.
I mean, so what is in a Kit Kat that isn't vegan?
You can't have milk chocolate.
Okay, so if they made dark chocolate Kit Kats, they could eat them? Didn't they do dark chocolate Kit Kats?
Dark chocolate Kit Kats.
So aren't dark chocolate Kit Kats vegan?
The cream between the wafers is not vegan. So now you got to make that with like oatmeal, which, by the way, you can't just squeeze oats and call it milk. All right?
It's oat juice.
It's oat water.
You know.
Oat juice, yes. Juice, yes. Oat juice, not oat milk, not almond milk. If you press it to make it, it is juice, just like you would with an orange.
That's right.
Juice. Very good.
There is no
like that.
Oat teat, so there can't be oat milk. We know this.
Oats do not have mammary glands. They have feelings. Go ahead, let that sink in for a little bit, vegans. Now what are you going to eat? Grass has feelings. When you mow the lawn, what you hear is the sound of millions of tiny screams of terror.
So this show vehemently not behind vegan Kit Kats. You can't take a good thing and make it vegan.
Yeah. Well, so Kit Kats already were vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Yeah. Right. So they were almost vegan. Basically, I think all they did was replace the milk in the milk chocolate. I think that's all they did. But what's the point? Just eat dark chocolate.
Don't you know that cows' udders would just explode if you didn't milk them? We're really doing them a favor. Let me. I bet none of these vegans have ever known a pregnant lady, one who recently gave birth. They hurt. You got to milk them.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where the hell you were going with this, but
yeah,
because my mind was going a different direction with the cows about how they're responsible for 60% of the greenhouse gases related to global warnings.
Well, yeah, but you're not getting milk out of their farts. So,
but we should eat them.
Yeah. We were eating a steak the other night, and my wife says, I almost feel bad about eating the steak because the cow had to die. I said, I don't feel bad at all. It fulfilled its purpose. It tastes good. What else does a cow have to do? I'm fighting global warming. So, yeah. There is nothing better. A cow's ultimate goal is to be tasty. That's what its goal in life is. If it had a yearbook, it would write, it would want to be voted tastiest cow. So,
that's fair.
Yeah. In that yearbook, biggest rump would be a compliment. Being called a heifer in a cow yearbook, that's something to look forward to. Not so much in a human one, but anyway. All right. It is.
Okay, so just before we go jump off this, so I was just reading something more on this. So the vegan Kit Kat is apparently not coming to the U.S.
Thank goodness. We can stop something coming into the U.S.
So I would say it's less about catering to vegans and more about catering to some other countries where
the cow is sacred.
I mean, what'd you say?
I was going to say, if you say Britain, I'm going to say, well, to hell with it. I don't give a damn. British don't deserve Kit Kats either.
I think it's more about, say India and Israel, some places where milk itself does have some issues. Just not from a.
But then why didn't they make it with goat milk? They have plenty of goats.
Goat milk is the same problem.
No, it's not. Cows are sacred in India. Goats are not.
No.
Yeah, but vegan is vegan.
Israel, there's a whole issue with milk and meat and not being able to put the two together. Anyway, just saying, it makes. I think it has more to do. It has more than just catering to vegans. It's just it makes it easier for them to get to some other countries. Okay. Otherwise, it would be in the U.S., but it isn't. Or at least in California.
If you say so. All right. I think it's probably...
if it was in the U.S., I'd call it silly, but I think it's silly regardless. But that's beside the point.
Yes, I agree. It is silly regardless.
All right, so just a FYI, this bagel place, this is not cheap. But because I just did the math, unless it's free shipping, which I doubt it is.
Are they a Prime vendor, Blake? Are they a Prime? It's like Amazon Prime Bagels.
No, I sent you the link, right?
Yeah.
And
they're
normal bagels. Okay, so the Bagel Nook is the place, and I saw that they have a store, but no, their store is all the Bagel Nook merchandise, not food.
Yep.
But they do, oh my God, they do overloaded bagels, which, like the Oreo overload. It's an Oreo bagel with Oreo cream cheese and Oreo cookies in the middle.
Let's see here.
They have the Elvis. Oh, my God. Like, here, so not Gold Belly, but if you go, here, I don't know if you can, but I'm going to just show you the menu
I'm
from
just
the
looking
actual
here.
place, man.
So if I want, man.
Oh, okay, so this is a place that you could actually go, Mike.
Oh, yeah, this place is about 20 minutes from my house.
Got it. Okay.
You could set up a bagel
Gold Plate in
subscription.
general is a site where if you have enough money to gold plate your entire stomach, this is a place you could buy food from.
Well, I mean, they don't. I don't know how much this stuff actually costs, but like, I see now. I'm looking like I know Kim wants to get the Fruity Pebble Overload Bagel, which is a Fruity Pebble bagel with birthday cake cream cheese and freshly sliced strawberries in the middle. So there, you got fruit, so it's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I am going for the Elvis bagel, which is a French toast bagel with peanut butter swirl cream cheese on both sides, freshly sliced bananas, and crispy bacon in the middle. That is my life right there. I would, man, you would see me smiling through my face mask going, eating that thing. Oh, my God. And they have regular stuff, too. Oh, they have a Dorito bagel.
12 bagels, though, for $36?
Well, that's why I said that, but that's because of markup, because they're going through this Gold Belly
Yeah.
Yeah,
place.
you can get from Grubhub instead.
I don't think Grubhub will deliver all the way to Illinois.
No, but for you.
Well, yeah.
Oh, no, I'll go drive to get it.
Yeah.
I got no problem driving to go get it. In fact, Kim and I were talking about next weekend we're going to have to go take a trip down there because why not?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see the actual price here. Okay, let's see. That's...
All right, so let me ask this question. Last week, did we talk?
Yeah.
Did I mention about the vegan burger that I got from Aldi's? Did we talk about that or not? I don't remember.
I don't remember
I think
that.
so.
Okay, so when we were shopping, they have Aldi's house brand. They finally got them in my Aldi's. The Whole Earth Empower plant-based patties, which are supposed to be like Beyond Meat, as opposed to the Impossible Burger. And I got to tell you something. That was pretty damn good. So much so that when we went back to Aldi's this past weekend, I bought another package. Because I'm willing to try Veggie Mondays. Not this week because, well, it ain't happening. But I'm willing to go veggie, one day a week.
Well, you should just make it Veggie Friday, and then you can tell people it's for
No, I
Lent.
can't do Veggie Fridays because of hockey on Fridays.
Okay.
So I got to pick a different day.
By the I know probably not related, because this would be a really weird relation. But remember, years ago, we interviewed Big Sally Graziano on the radio show,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, wife and I's pastime recently,
I'll be right back, guys.
okay,
Keep talking.
has been watching Untold Stories of the ER. Okay? And the other night, we're watching an episode from season 2. Now, Mike, have you ever watched that show?
I think I have.
Okay, so it's basically cops, but for the ER. Okay, so you see weird stuff happen, but these are all true stories. Well, honest to God, one of the stories we watched was cops brought in a man in wrestling tights and a spandex shirt, who they said was raving down the median of a highway, flexing his muscles, and this guy is big. Evidently, he is an ex-wrestler. His name is Tony Graziano, or same last name, right? And he's an ex-wrestler, and he had gotten a hold of some substances, and they had not reacted well.
Okay, so let me just back up a second, and I'm going to make assumptions here without knowing for sure. I can tell you one that was not based on Big Sal.
I wasn't.
But
I know.
The fact that it's Tony Graziano.
Yeah, I think so.
So Graziano, we know, was Sal's stage name, his last name.
Yeah.
But one of the other members of the Full-Blooded Italians was Tony Mamaluke. And I ain't heard nothing about him in a while. So it's possible they just didn't get that creative.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it of the ER season 2 wrestler. Trying to find it. Is it nothing's working? There it is. Yes, retired pro wrestler is brought in an incoherent and combative state. That was It was a great episode because at one point he rips out his IV, he rips off the blood pressure cup, he jumps up on top of the check-in desk and goes, "I am a god! You will kneel before me." It was so funny.
Okay.
And then they tried. Then he goes tearing down the hallway, and you see these three actors playing security guards, dogpile on him, and then he just lifts up and throws them all off like they were just rag dolls. And,
okay.
It was just hilarious. It was just great. So it was a really, really good episode to watch. And then they have actually had quite a few wrestlers, because they had another wrestler come in who couldn't stop throwing up, who was part of a threesome tag team group. Turns out he had swallowed a one-hitter, and it was stuck in his esophagus.
Okay.
Yep. So it's a fun show to watch if you don't mind a little bit of blood and gore, but just about everybody lives, so it's okay.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. The only people that have died have been gangbangers.
What show was this?
Untold Stories of the ER. It was TLC, and so you can actually find it on Discovery Plus if you have that.
Yes, it's amazing the weird stuff you can find on Disney Plus.
Yes. There's all kinds of crap out there.
Talking about Discovery Plus, like Kim was even asking me about it, because she said, man, people are going insane about this, how all of the shows are only on Discovery Plus now. And I said, yeah, we talked about that. Thanks for listening. I know she tunes in sometimes, but not. Yeah. Not always for the whole show. Like once we go off on a tangent that she don't give a damn about, she tunes out. I get it. So I guess the question is, do you want to go to the bar before or after we talk about like the one topic that I said I think we decided we were going to talk about early on, and that's the topic of COVID fatigue, because we're about a year into this whole pandemic.
I think we need a drink to start talking about that, don't you? All right, let's go. I would
agree.
Let's go to the bar.
Okay, you made it. Okay, you made it.
Yep. Sure did. Oh, and it's loud. loud in my headphones. All right. So, Mike, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Well, I'm very simple tonight. I just have the ginger and ginger, which is the ginger whiskey with ginger ale. Very, very simple tonight.
And actually, my drink tonight is pretty simple too. I'm making a Sazerac. Only has
simple.
3 ingredients.
Booze, booze, and booze.
A little bit of prep work.
That one's, that's a tricky one.
What?
I was commenting that Sazerac has a rinse. It's a tricky one. It doesn't just pour a bunch of booze into a cup.
So, it does have a rinse if you rinse. So yes, it has 2 ingredients. Rye whiskey and absinthe.
Oh boy.
Oh, and
Ice, of course. My favorite, Bago ice.
simple syrup.
Oh, okay.
No ice in this
Bago
one, Mike.
Wow.
So, first thing you're going to do, in 1 glass, both very chilled, you're going to take and just do about half a cap of absinthe in 1 glass.
That's it?
And you're just going to stir it around and coat the entire glass.
Okay, for the record, I have never had absinthe. I saw Eurotrip and said, nope, not for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of myth and lore around absinthe, but most of it's just that. There's no real hallucinogenic effect of it. It is pretty strong, and it does have a nice anise taste and smell to it. It's very earthy. So you just let that go, and that's going to sit on its own. Now in the other glass, and the reason why these are cold is because we don't want anything to dilute this, because it's very simple, and this is originated in New Orleans. So we're going to do 1 bar spoon of simple syrup. You can also use a sugar cube, but that requires you to muddle, and that's a pain in the butt. Then 1.5 ounces of rye whiskey. Stir to combine. Then you put this stuff into this glass. And that's it. Now, if I was doing the rinse as Colin indicated, I would have thrown out the excess absinthe in this glass. But since I use such a small amount, why waste good absinthe? So,
Yeah. One of my favorite bars I've ever been to. I think you went with a Shaggy to that bar. They actually put the absinthe into the with a eyedropper to get just the right amount.
Yeah, it doesn't take much because all you're doing is coating the glass all the way around. Because it's really that vapor that you're getting when you're drinking it. So you're getting just as much off of the sides as you are in the actual cocktail. But this is a really traditional Sazerac. If you wanted to go a step further, you could take some lemon zest, express it in the drink, and then rub the rim. But
Okay.
I didn't go out and get any new lemons. So this is what I got. But if you don't like rye whiskey, I was amazed at how much the sugar changes the taste. But a little bit of simple syrup really goes a long way.
Okay.
So, pretty easy to do. And yeah, so if you want to play around with absinthe, this is one of the first starter cocktails for it.
Interesting.
But yeah, and it is 65% alcohol by volume. So it's not something you would drink by itself.
There's you.
So now let's go ahead and head back to the studio.
I missed the control room, man. Foosball is not my favorite. I missed the control room.
Sorry,
Instead of foosball. But
I had to clear some space on my machine, and I accidentally deleted those files. But that's okay. I'm not going to have that problem soon, because we've all had to find things to do, right? Getting to the topic we were going to talk about here, COVID fatigue. Everybody has had to find or, get into their hobbies, right? So, like, I got into doing cocktails. It's been kind of fun, but it's also created a problem. I now have many more bottles of liquor on my countertop than I have countertop. I have I have more booze inside the cabinet that I don't have room to put on the bar. To the point where my daughter said, "Well, you really need to do those like bleachers that you see at actual bars so that it's easier to find your booze." And I said, "Well, the problem is if I make that, I'll have even actually less room because you can't huddle them as close together." But she is right. I think they will look better. But yeah. So I mean, when a trip to the liquor store is $200 at a minimum, that is an expensive hobby. It's a fun hobby for the night, but it's an expensive hobby.
yeah.
We've also gotten into home renovations around here and doing a lot of them. But that's an expensive hobby and not necessarily always something you can do by yourself. Sometimes that hobby is just writing a check. But, But you do hit a point where you hit that wall going, oh, I'm tired. I'm just tired of doing everything. I really want to, get away. And I just want to do, something out there, because it has, and I know other people have definitely hit this wall way before I am, but I'm just finding it right now where I'm like, oh, God. I don't necessarily, I'm not one of those ones that say I just want it to go back to normal, because normal wasn't great to begin with. So, I don't want that. But I would like a little bit more opportunity to get a few other things, open and would like a return to a few other things.
Yeah. I am finally getting back to Disney, at least for a weekend next month.
Yeah. This has been the longest stretch that Colin has been away from his, vacation home since I don't know when. I don't know, honestly, how they've dealt without him being around to constantly tell them how to do their job. I mean, how does that place even operate when you're not there?
I don't know.
I mean, your patronage is the whole reason why the airline industry is failing right now. You're not keeping them up, yourself with your 24-hour flight, to Disney, your round trip where you don't even bother packing a bag because it's 24 hours total time.
Yep. That was a good day.
That was the day Colin got accused of being a terrorist, because they're like, "What do you mean you're going round trip you're going to Disney and you don't have any luggage?"
Well, no, we had luggage. We stayed there for a night, so we had some luggage, but they were mostly backpacks because we were flying. They were all backpacks. We were flying Frontier.
They were full of
so we didn't want to pay for luggage, so it was all carry-ons. Well, not even carry-on. Personal items. It was all personal items. That's it.
Yes, it was just a bunch of knitting needles and utility knives and some Play-Doh and some shoes with some matchsticks sticking out of them. That's all it was. Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah.
Security. Yeah. Mike?
That was also one of the wettest days I've ever had in my life. It was like a monsoon in Magic Kingdom that day.
So Mike,
well, that's the big gamble.
Yeah,
that's a big gamble when you travel like that because Florida weather can change at the drop of a dime. So if you time it, it's completely luck of the draw. You can't be looking at forecasts. It's just.
Yep.
I mean, so Shaggy, I'm kind of with you. I don't know. I don't necessarily. I hate the phrase "new normal." I absolutely despise that phrase. But I would like to see more things start to open up. I think that's starting to happen here in Jersey. More opportunity to go do different things that you used to do and feel comfortable doing it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So Kim got her first dose of a vaccine. She's getting her second dose on St. Patrick's Day, actually. I have not gotten scheduled for mine. I'm hearing based off of the guidelines that Murphy's going to open it back up, or I'm going to be eligible by the end of the month. And at that point, I think the Johnson & Johnson single-shot vaccine is going to be prevalent here in Jersey since J&J is based here.
Mm-hmm.
Once, not that I think this is the answer to it all, but I think once you get enough people that are vaccinated, you feel, right, wrong, or indifferent, there's going to be a general sense of security about going out.
I think to some degree there's a false sense of that security now that vaccinations have started. Like you said, it's that comfortability that is that's what's lacking for me right now, because we had to go, so we order groceries online. I've talked about this a million times. We go and we pick it up, they throw it in our trunk, and we move on, right? Well, we didn't get a bunch of stuff, and the wife decided that she really wanted to make this new chicken recipe the other night, so we went in the store. We went in Walmart, of all places, right? And it was a madhouse. We went there at 4 o'clock, which is not a great time to go there any, time. Quite a few people's chins were very well protected. Nothing else. A lot of other people must just be mouth breathers because their nose was not covered at all. And so, it's that bothered me, plus just the pure how many people were around. I had never thought that I was claustrophobic, but just the sheer amount of people running around in that place. I guess maybe I've gotten used to it's just me and the wife at home, and there's room to kind of spread out a little bit. You wouldn't think that you cramped up in a house you'd feel that way, but I can walk outside and I can see, or I can go out front or whatever. But in that little store, it felt compacted, and definitely didn't feel like everybody was taking things seriously, and that honestly irked me a bit. So not even all the employees took things seriously. The guy stocking the chicken was protecting his chin very well, and that's about it. And I'm like, you work here, man. Come on.
Yeah. So most of the stores around here, most of the people I see, face covers are, people are abiding by it. Maybe they don't cover their nose, and I'm just like, whatever. I'm not trying to fight you. I'm covered up. That's fine. So. Yeah. There have been a couple of places I've gone where nobody's wearing them. But I kept mine on anyway, and I don't judge. That's the bottom line here. I don't judge. Because I also have been looking at the actual case counts in Jersey, and they keep reporting these thousands and 2,000 to 3,000 new cases every day. But what they're not telling you is anywhere from 40 to as high as 55% of that number were tests that were performed more than 8 days ago.
Yeah.
And
there definitely is a
CDC
time lag.
guidance. Yeah. So the CDC guidance is those cases, some of them have been even more than 30 days that they're mining for new cases. So the numbers are not as high as you would think, or as they'll have you believe here.
Yeah, see, our case count has been trending downward. Is that because people started to take it seriously? Is that because of precautions that were put in place? You can't necessarily point to any one thing in particular. It's probably a combination of a lot of things. But, I know that as a state organization, we are, and this isn't anything behind the scenes or anything, but we are repositioning the news cycle to go more towards vaccination numbers going up than case numbers going down. We are shifting the news cycle as to what to concentrate on, whether it's vaccinations or tests, right? So we're focusing on everybody going out and getting vaccinated now because that is, the path forward that we want to take. We don't want to look at how bad things are. We want to look at how good things can get, because that is how you move past this. But, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where, there are a lot of oppositions to the vaccination stuff. Right, wrong, or indifferent doesn't matter. I mean, whatever your thoughts on vaccination are, that's fine. But I mean, getting back to what we were talking about is fatigue is, we've been doing this now for almost a year. At least I have. I've been working from home almost a year now. And, it does get to you after a while, all the newness and the funness and everything starts to wear off. And you're okay, well, this is now getting to be a little bit tiresome.
So, Ms. A-Man writing in there, yeah, I'm over it. Yeah, her and I, and I don't know if it's just my screen, but that looks all combobulated to me.
Yeah.
What?
And I got...
check baggage is too much of a hassle anyway.
Right, and then Mama Blair writing in that your first mistake was going to Walmart. So that's one of the stores that we actually have not gone to. I think Kim may have gone one time on like a Saturday at 8 a.m. in bad weather. So the store was actually pretty empty. Have I been in? Yeah, I've been in a Walmart too. You just got to mind be aware of your surroundings. That's pretty much it. Been at Home Depot a bunch of times. I've been gauging like yesterday I went to Home Depot and I noticed that, hey, guess what? There aren't empty racks in the pressure-treated lumber aisle anymore. They're not as full as they always were, but they have boards in every single one of the racks. That's a good sign. I just happened to look today. Fence panels are back in stock. So maybe I will be able to do the fence once the new people move in next door, because guess what? The house is under contract. We saw them over there with the inspector yesterday, and
so you didn't get those Halloween decorations up as fast as you wanted to.
No, but I'm hopeful. I'm being optimistic about that. We'll talk about that at a future date. Mm-hmm. My thing is like even like going out with friends. Like meeting up, calling up and say, hey, you want to go meet at the bar? Saturday night we went to, remember the restaurant that we went to, the local bar, right? We went there Saturday night for dinner with a friend of ours. And the room that we ate in, I think there was normally 8 tables. They had 4 tables. So, yeah, capacity's limited. They're spacing their seating, but that's kind of what they got to do right now. Yeah. Once it starts warming up, they'll go back and they'll have the improvised outdoor area set up again. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's things that you want to do that you just can't do. And
well, it's like we got we got a birthday coming up for, our oldest grandson's going to turn 21. My wife really wanted to have a birthday party for him, and I'm like, she's like, well, do you think I should do this, or what do you think they'd think of this? And I'm like, I don't know that any of those is a good idea. Why don't we just have him over for dinner? And she goes, well, that's really not what I want to do. I'm like, well, I'm leveraging what you want to do against what you're going to feel comfortable doing, and so I'm trying to just be the voice of reason so that you're not driving yourself nuts, and it's not, what she wants to do is have everybody over and have a normal birthday party like always. Well, but that will drive her nuts in a different way. So,
And it's not warm enough that you can do something outside.
Right.
Like I have some friends that when they were comfortable having people over as long as it was in the backyard, not in the house. So once the weather started getting bad, nobody coming over. Now we've had a few people over, nothing major. But for the most part, during this lockdown, it's been me and Kim. Now, we've gone over and seen my parents a couple of times, and I think that's the other thing that is driving us. Like we were talking about the other night, because I wanted to talk to her before I came on the air and started talking about this. I wanted to get her feelings and make sure, she was cool with what I was saying and what I was feeling. And just, we had to talk about it. And,
right.
It in a way, jokingly, I said, it's a miracle we didn't kill each other during this whole thing.
Oh,
because
man, the divorce rate,
just,
I can't imagine right now.
Well, listen, we never got to that point. There have been a couple of times where we were just like, oh, God. Things were on edge, but I get it. Kim, I'll tell you something. Honestly, if Kim wasn't going out of the house to go to work every day, I think we may have killed each other. If we were around each other 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been, that could have gotten very crazy. And Colin, now you're at your parents', right? Now, I don't know, is it just you and your parents, or are there others in the house with you?
No, just me and my parents.
Okay.
Now, see, a leading British law firm, Stewards of London, logged a 122% increase in inquiries for divorce between July and October compared with the same period last year. Also, there's an increase in mental health problems linked to the pandemic. We all knew that, which is also playing a role in breakups. Anxiety disorders are, it is, even strong couples who weren't facing problems before the pandemic and avoided major shifts in household health or dynamics may be susceptible to breakups during pandemic times, because well-established routines that often comfort, stability, and rhythm are knocked out of whack.
All right, so that's another thing that kind of brought the whole COVID fatigue, quarantine ridiculousness to a head with us, was the weather. Because last week we got probably 2 feet of snow.
Yeah,
maybe
you guys
more.
got killed.
We got hammered in February with snow. So you couldn't. Not only could you not go anywhere, you couldn't even go out in the yard. And you were spending so much time. Like Kim was going out there and shoveling paths for the dogs so they could go out. Mm-hmm. I'm clearing the driveway and the sidewalks, plus doing neighbors. And, it's a lot. It got to be a lot.
Yeah.
And so now you have, I used to joke about it, that seasonal affective disorder, I think that's what it's called, SAD, where in the winter, because there's less daylight and you're not outside as much, people tend to swing more towards the depressed side of the spectrum. For the first time in my life, I felt like we were feeling that, because we couldn't even go drive over and hang out at a friend's, or go out to the bar and hang out with friends, or just us inside. And
Yeah.
So you can because you can be outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you feel trapped inside four walls, it just amplifies anything. What would have been a joke isn't taken as a joke. What would have been whatever is exacerbated even worse. Yeah, so, it does definitely wear down on any relationship at all.
There's one small incident that comes to mind that I think was kind of at when we were both at our breaking point. I was getting ready to go to hockey on Friday night, and it was freezing, and Kim wanted me to take the garbage out. Well, I went into the back room to put my jacket on before I took the garbage, and I guess there was miscommunication because she thought I was ignoring her and wasn't going to take the garbage at all. And But no, I was like, no, I'm just going to go put my coat on because I can't put my coat on while I'm carrying this big thing of garbage. So I want to put my coat on first. That's all.
Did the phrase, "Don't you walk away from me," come out of her mouth?
No, there may have been a couple of F-bombs from both sides at that point. But,
Yeah.
Now, see, and so Mama Blair's bringing up a good point here. And this is, so being an introvert.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that kind of joked that they were
prepping for COVID before it was a thing.
Yeah. They were prepping for this for their whole life, but even them, and I'm gonna fathom a guess that this may be the case for you guys as well. Even those introverts, the fact that family couldn't come over and visit and interact the way they normally would, that pushed a lot of people I know over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the case. And Colin, that's kind of why I asked if it was just, the three of yous. Because I didn't know if your sisters were coming over with the kids or
in general. Not to say, so everybody in the family is still very self-contained. So because of that, we've been able to do some limited get-togethers. Like I go over to my sister McKenna. I've been going to her house now every Friday.
Okay.
Because they don't go and see anybody. So, it's we have some limited interaction.
Yeah, and I think when the weather was warmer again, I thought I saw. I think you guys had an outdoor celebration for somebody. So again, the weather is playing a factor in this as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, to some degree, when the weather hit you, it was hitting us at the same time. And I was almost happy that we got snow because it's like, I have a reason to be outside now. I have to plow the snow. There's something I have to do, because I get stuck in this malaise where it's like, I could just lay down on the couch and not do anything right now. But I have these things I should be doing. I should be productive, but I've just entered that phase.
Now see, and here's the flip side. So I was approached by the rescue organization that I used to volunteer for about possibly doing an outdoor bingo in May.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not ruled it out. I want to see how they're planning on setting this up and what the game plan is, but I was like, wow, am I even comfortable doing that right now?
Well, yeah.
Because if you ask me right now, I don't know if I would be comfortable doing it. But come May, and this brings me back to the vaccine, if I'm vaccinated, then I will feel a little more comfortable about doing this, even if, outdoors this way. Because at the very least, I know if I get sick and I'm vaccinated, it
shouldn't be as bad.
as bad.
Yeah,
like I could get over it.
Yeah, And it's like, I was asked to do a parents' night. Somebody asked if any of us has gotten the vaccine. Colin actually went and got his vaccine, his first dose. We may have talked about that a little bit earlier. And actually, to go on to that for a little bit, Colin had shown us before we went online, because we wouldn't ask him to divulge any personal information, but he showed us his little card that he got. And me being an idiot.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah. So, but Colin got a card, and I asked, well, do you have to keep that with you all the time? And Colin educated me that he only has to keep it, when he's getting COVID-related shots. But I was thinking, okay, are we entering that society where we really do get to the point where we have little microchips that have our health data, where we have to be, because I've seen the preview for that movie where the guy on the motorcycle gets pulled over at gunpoint and he goes, no, I'm immune. And I'm wondering if we're entering COVID-23 territory, where the Gestapo comes and takes you away when you get sick or not. So I was because actually I had read about a country that was talking about adding a COVID vaccination to their passport.
And you know what? Depending on how it's used, I'm okay with it, actually. I'd be okay with that if having that means you do not have to quarantine when you get there, if that's what it's being used for. I would be okay with that type of, or carrying that to show I have the vaccine, I've been vaccinated, so when I go to see my father-in-law, I don't have to worry about quarantining or what have you. That's where I'd be okay with having to show that.
Yeah. One thing I'm very happy with is that I just haven't been sick. I have not even had a cold this entire time, and that has been a wonderful thing.
Yeah, like I said, as I mentioned, I don't know that I want to go back to the old ways because it wasn't great. I haven't had a real bad cold or anything,
And so we were talking about this before the show. According to in New Jersey, where I'm at, my wife has gotten her first dose. She's getting her second dose 2 weeks or so. I am still not eligible. The rumor is I will be eligible the end of the month.
Yeah.
So, and the whole supply thing. That's. Yeah. I don't even want to get into that because honestly, I feel like there's a lot of finger pointing, and what you're going to believe what you're going to believe. Yeah. So,
and the last thing we get into around here is politics.
Yeah. So, Kim's saying no one's sick because no one's going anywhere, but to that, the
you're
CDC
also not being exposed to anyone else. This is historically the lowest flu season on record. Not only because we're not going anywhere else, but because we are masking up as in general as a population. You got outliers, but as a population, we are masking up, and that prevents not just COVID, but every other bug that's out there. We're actually being conscious of. Yeah, and we're washing our hands. We're using hand sanitizer. We're doing everything that your mother told you should do all along.
Don't put it that way because I don't want them to think that they were right all along. Good Lord, are you?
Well, are you wearing clean underwear in case you get into an accident?
Yeah, I have clean underwear. I've got them in the glove compartment.
So I mean, it's
because listen, if I'm getting into an accident where I got to worry about the paramedics seeing whether or not I got clean underwear on, listen, first, like Bill Cosby said, first you say it, then you do it. Where's your clean underwear? In the glove compartment.
And then he says, here, have this drink. I got some chocolate pudding for you. But,
what's happening next with the COVID vaccines is they're talking now, they think they can make additional modifications to the vaccines and actually turn them into a pan-coronavirus vaccine. Meaning every coronavirus can be covered by these vaccines. They think they can do that. Now, coronaviruses, I saw a stat earlier that coronaviruses in general are about 20% of the common cold.
Yeah, but see, when they start to go outside the box and they start to say, oh, we can do this better, that's when you start to get zombies.
Nope.
All right? That's when that happens.
Now, about 40% of the common cold are rhinoviruses. And they're pretty can't do a vaccine for the rhinovirus. But we still might see a 20% reduction in the common cold.
Don't care about the common cold.
It's common.
That's like the only excuse that I have to not do anything sometimes is when I have a cold. All right? So I don't get rid of my don't
After this, I'll need an excuse sometimes to not have to be around people.
So
Yep.
And here's the other end of the spectrum, which is absolutely right. We can't. So once we get out of this growth phase, or once we see that the transmission rates have dropped and we have vaccination numbers are up and cases are down, and at that point, at some point we have to stop with the hand sanitizer. We have to stop with the disinfectants because we are killing our immune systems. I do truly believe that we're relying too much on chemicals and less on the natural immunities that we have built up.
Well, if we kill off all the germs, what is going to kill the aliens when they come to invade? We need those germs. They're our line of defense.
What's going to kill them? Tofu.
Will Smith?
Tofu and turkey bacon. That's what's going to kill
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid, of course.
No, but so it is a perfectly true thing. 'Cause I was reading this too, that at least rhinoviruses, when they come through and do the common cold, do boost your immune system.
Okay.
And so it may be a good thing in general that the rhinoviruses are still going around. Now, there's some competing things that are saying that one of the problems with COVID-19 and coronaviruses in general is that they may actually be riding that boost that the rhinoviruses were giving to actually help themselves. That's probably part of the problem with them. So if we can get rid of the coronaviruses in general, that'd be a great thing. I'm not sure about the hand sanitizer, Mike. I mean, that's just alcohol. I'm not too worried about that. But other disinfectants, we've already been banning a lot of them, and I think that's a good thing.
I guess my point is, like, you know, my generation, when we grew up playing outside in the mud, in the creeks and whatever, and our immune systems were better. Like, very few people.
Here comes a back in my day story from old man Mike.
No, it's not a back in my day. It's the generation that grew up with the Purell. Okay? Oh, I touched something. I'm out in public. I must Purell. That generation, when they had kids, the kids, like, now you see peanut allergies. Now you see all these other allergies that you never heard of when we were growing up. There's a correlation whether it's scientific or not.
No,
you gotta build up an immune system. Go swim in the Hudson River, which is basically raw sewage.
All right, George.
Build up your immune system.
See, that's not because. But I will say, there is an exact corollary between.
I know the peanut allergy thing. I know we've talked about that specific one, so that's a bad one.
That it was self-creating. But I also look at, like, you know, chicken pox, for example. I have had shingles, and they were talking about that on Twitter. They're talking about that. There's a push for shingle vaccine. But by the way, if you turn 50, you should be first in line the moment you turn 50 to get a shingles vaccination.
So, okay, so the shingles vaccine, I have a question. If you had chicken pox, should you get the shingles vaccine?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. That's why, if you never had chickenpox, technically speaking, you shouldn't get shingles. You should just get the chickenpox vaccine and be good. Shingles is because when you had chickenpox, the chickenpox stayed in your system, and when it comes back, it's shingles.
Okay. That part I knew. I just did. It was okay. I didn't work. Last we talked about the mRNA vaccine, which was the Moderna and the Pfizer, and now we have the J, right? So then we have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is an adenovirus, which is a different mechanism. And this is where we were talking. I think we touched on it earlier. Maybe it was even before the show. I don't remember. But since Johnson & Johnson is based in Jersey, there's a good chance that when it comes time for me to get my vaccine, it's going to be the J&J vaccine. And I was looking up to see what the pros and cons of each are. And this is where the percentages come in and what have you. The pro is Johnson & Johnson is one shot, one and done.
Yep.
Con is it's less effective, but you still won't die. So you might get symptoms, but you're not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
However, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was also being tested further into the COVID, than the other ones were. So there's some question of, do those percentages, are they actually different, or if it's just because it was at a different time? There's more COVID around, so it made it look worse than it really was.
Well, yes, and the other question was because it was in development later, it might be more effective against some of the new variants that are showing up that may have been around before we really actually recognize them. So, yeah, there's pros and cons to each. So, and I don't think you're going to get a choice of which vaccine you get.
Right.
So,
if you're getting an appointment and you're getting 2 appointments, then you're getting the mRNA ones.
But the New Jersey, the way the system is set up, you only make your first appointment, and then your second appointment will be automatically scheduled after you get your first appointment, and basically it filters through that, yes, this person was here, they did get their first dose on this date, because Kim left and did not have a second appointment in hand from her first. Mm-hmm. And she got an email about 4 days later saying, this is when your second dose will be administered, this time, same place. So you don't make both appointments at the same right away, so you don't know. You make that first appointment. So I could go make that first appointment. I could show up, and it could be a J&J. You don't know if you're getting Moderna, Pfizer, J&J. You don't know. So you don't really have a choice. But the flip side is you're getting vaccinated. So
get vaccinated. Here's the one thing where Moderna and the Pfizer, BioNTech, whatever, why that technology is superior is that with these mRNA vaccines, as the virus changes, they're going to be able to make modifications to it, get it passed through the FDA very quickly, and do additional booster shots, and then just keep doing that. Now, the problem with the Johnson & Johnson one is because what it does is exactly the same thing. So it has the little protein inside an adrenal virus that makes it create the spikes in the body. So the actual mechanism inside the body is exactly the same. So you're getting the same effect, whether it's the mRNA virus vaccines or not. The problem is that the body is actually going to react to the adrenal virus itself. So it can't replicate in the body, but it's still going to notice the viruses and create a defense against the adrenal virus itself. That means you can't really do a second shot. If you went back 3 or 4 weeks later and got a second shot of the Johnson & Johnson, the body is going to notice the adrenal virus immediately and kill it before it has any chance to give its payload out. So the booster shot doesn't work for the Johnson & Johnson. But that doesn't mean to say that if you get the Johnson & Johnson now, that if there's new changes that they need to give you a booster, they could probably just give you a booster from Moderna or Pfizer, and it should work just as well. So because of that, yeah, whatever they're going to give you, take it. It's fine.
I found something for you, Mike.
Agreed. What's that?
Oh, Dios mío, so much pain. Maria had to do everything for me.
She had these awful blisters on her back. I don't want shingles when I'm your age.
Actually, if you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk.
That's life. Nothing you can do.
Shingles can be prevented.
Shingles can be what?
Prevented. You can get vaccinated.
Where?
Well, at your pharmacy, at your doctor's.
Hold on.
I've seen the damn commercial. I know. She looks like the Roadrunner getting out of the car. I know.
I'm just letting you know. Shingles can be prevented, Mike.
Some of the stuff I saw on Twitter was there's this one woman that said, "I've had 3 kids. I'd rather have another kid than shingles."
I'm not going to disagree. I don't
So
know if I
here's
could
my
agree or disagree.
Here's my personal theory on shingles. So, because I think they should be giving the vaccinations below 50. Because I think the problem is that historically, kids had chickenpox. So adults who already had chickenpox are exposed to the kids of chickenpox, and that acted as a mini booster for what they already had. The kids do not have chickenpox; they're all vaccinated now. So us adults, below 50, I think we're at a higher risk for getting shingles now because we are not getting boosts. I think above 50, they used to be more likely to have get shingles, not because they were older, but because they had less exposure to little kids with chickenpox.
Yeah. All right. So Mama Blair posted up that you can call and ask what's being given. That's out in Illinois, and Kim just said when you log into the site's schedule, you can see what vaccine they offer. Obviously I wouldn't know that because I haven't been approved the schedule yet. So, that's good. That's good to know. But I do kind of agree. Like, whichever. Now, the funny part is when I see what Kim's reaction to the second shot is, that may steer me one way or another. Because if she's like down for the count for a couple of days and she had the Moderna vaccine, if she's down for the count for a couple of days and is miserable and ready, like I've taken off those 2 days after she gets her shot just to be ready. She is planning on being out of work for those 2 days as well. If she's down for the count, then that's going to steer me away from Moderna. Just because her and I pretty much, with the exception of she does not do well with anesthesia, I'm okay with anesthesia. We are pretty much the same when it comes to tolerance to different, drugs, food, a lot of stuff. So her reaction would probably be very similar to the reaction I would have.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Well, we
know what's amazing? We have talked almost the entire show, and we have not gone through anything on the white sheet.
Well, we went through vegan Twix.
Well, that's true.
Now, okay, so we've got so Colin, I think, put up an article, or no, Mike, you did. One of the places that we stream is Twitch, and it's one of the few places that we have not gotten copyright infringement notices from, to my knowledge. We seem to get it from everywhere else, but luckily, thank goodness, we are not the only ones that are dogged by copyright notices. Metallica got dinged with a copyright violation, which is great.
Oh no,
to know
they did not get dinged with a copyright.
Right.
So here's what happened. Because when this first popped up on Twitter, I was like, no, I got to find out the true story because there's no way in hell this really happened. Mm-hmm. Blizzard Entertainment, which is the gaming company that made Warcraft, right? They had an online con this year, which is BlizzCon. And they had Metallica performing live, streaming on Twitch.
Yes.
For BlizzCon. Metallica was playing their own song.
Yep.
BlizzCon, whoever was running it, they overdubbed the music that Metallica was playing. Metallica was playing their own song. They put in 8-bit Zelda-type music to avoid a DCMA strike.
So who got to hear Metallica?
Whoever was in the room. No, actually, I think there were other outlets that were.
Okay. So just on Twitch.
On Twitch. I might, on Twitch. I don't know if there were other, actually, now that you mention it. But on Twitch, I went and found the actual full, because there were clips of it on Twitter. I said, no, this can't be right. So I went and I found the actual Twitch stream, which was archived, and went right to the whole BlizzCon stream. And I went right to, and you hear basically Lars Ulrich on the drums. Bam, boom, 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 boom. Right? So it actually cut over.
So you hear
still playing away.
So it's like this. I know it's very low, but that's what it actually sounds like.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you see them like that.
You see them rocking out, and everybody, and you could see on the Twitch replay of it, you could see the comments while it's actually happening. And people thought that their stream was broken. People were crying, this is DCMA or DMCA, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
That's exactly why they're doing it. This, that, the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there was a new, you know how I love the mashup.
Well, and just real quick, the irony behind this, and yes, apple juice, sweet irony.
Yes.
The irony is that Metallica is pretty much the impetus behind DMCA because of their whole thing with Napster. Right?
Yes. So this won't make its way onto Facebook, and who knows whether it will make its way onto YouTube. But I found this mashup, which I really love because I actually like both these bands. And I don't know if you've ever heard this or not, Mike, but it is Huey Lewis and the News.
We will just link it on the Facebook page.
So I love that one because it works so well.
I have a whole crap ton of mashups that I can share with you.
I love the mashup. Somebody came up with another one which was I think it might have been Metallica and I don't know. Anyway, there was a couple of them that I saw. So anyway, I'll put the link to that in the chat so that we can post it on our media channels. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was great. So let's see here. We got just enough time for probably one more article here before we get into our double feature movie review. For those of you that aren't familiar, we do 2 movie reviews every episode. So what do we want to talk about? Laser beams from space, Fry's Electronics, Colin's new living situation, or a short supply of monkeys, or Catholic school problems,
or how about SpaceX and Starlink?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Sure.
So there was a whole. Oh, here. Okay, Fry's. Yeah. Do you have access to our damn whitelist? Who are you?
So,
because that was actually one of the topics in our whitelist here.
Yeah. So Fry's Electronics, honestly, the only time I've ever seen one is when I went on vacation. But it's kind of an eccentric computer geek store. They've got interesting buildings kind of around the country, and it's shutting its doors. They are filing for bankruptcy for good.
So the interesting part about this was the article that I posted up from The Verge cited a YouTube video from Bitwit, which was actually the first Bitwit video I ever watched. And next thing I know, every freaking YouTube recommendation was, "Hey, watch Bitwit." No, I hate Bitwit. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So one of the things, he went to a Fry's and found the shelves empty. This was about a year ago. And somebody mentioned in that video that all of the stock was pulled to send to the Las Vegas store because CES was happening, and just in case a reporter went to the Fry's store out there, they wanted them to see full shelves. This way, the headline from CES wasn't "Fry's is in trouble." And so the only, and this is sad because that was one of the places, like along with CompUSA. I'm trying to, like, Radio Shack was another one for a little while, but there were only a handful of places where you could go to really get like actual PC components.
Yeah.
And now the only place is Best Buy, for God's sakes.
And it's not really
most
components. It's Micro Center, if you're close enough to one, if there is one close. But I think there's only 14 across the entire U.S. and Canada.
25.
And granted,
okay.
Granted, you can do a lot of this stuff online, but if something breaks and you need it like now,
yeah.
Like I had that happen where I needed a hard drive, and the only place, or was it a hard drive? No, a DVD drive. And the only place around me at the time that I could get it was freaking Staples. And I paid an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't one of their, that's not what they're in business for.
Yeah. I mean, now, we know, because of the rise in online purchases, the brick and mortar stores do have issues, right? It's difficult for them with their overhead to offer things at the same price and to offer the varied selections, just simply because it is difficult. But it's sometimes you need to have those brick and mortars because it is important. I mean, it's just it's an important thing to have.
That was another theme. That was another theme, that Fry's had terrible customer service, and some people were saying that that's because the company was in such trouble that they just hired anybody that would come to work. They would. That's who. You were a good employee if you came to work. That's it. What was the Circuit City was the other one that you used to be able to get.
Yep.
Get parts from. I mean, Electronics Boutique, which then became part of Newegg around here. I mean, that was another store. There were a lot of stores, even some independents where you pay a little more, but you could get the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have one here. We used to have one here. What was it, like PC Geek or something? I don't remember what it was, but it was over there by Computer Geek. Yeah, and it was
Computer Deli.
Yeah, Computer Deli. I even remember Nate saying that. Like, you got the Computer Deli, and I was like, "What? You go in, get a hard drive and a sub? What?" But that's a great idea. That's like Leroy's barbecue and foot massage.
But it was like you walk in and there's just it's just pegboard, and you need a SATA cable. There it is. You need a VGA cable, 20 foot. It's right there on the rack. It's like you need this thing and you need it now. And they just happen to have it, and so you're paying double what you would have online, but who cares? I need this now, you know. But yeah, you get, and I mean, they had two around here. They had one in Springfield and one in Bloomington. So you thought, oh, well, they must be doing good. And they made custom PCs and stuff like that too. But, you know, you couldn't afford to have one made there because they went balls to the walls with everything. And, you know, you just didn't need that at the time. But
so one of the things with Fry's, like I had never been to one, but supposedly every store was like a different theme park, right? So they had all of these ridiculous theatrics around.
Yeah, just looking at the Twitter feed off of the Verge article, and one's got a spacecraft, the other one's got a nautical theme, one's got like a gear workshop theme, one's a pyramid. You know, they're all over the place as far as look and feel. So the one thing that they pointed out was a lot of those locations, Fry's actually not only owns the building, but they own the land. So there is a good chance that they'll come out of this not losing money. Of course, they're going to be gone, but yeah,
like I remember, who was it? Was it Tiger Direct that had stores and then they just went online? I think Newegg too. That was Egghead Software, maybe? Was that
Geeks?
What they started, and then
Geeks used to do that. Then they went to online only, and it was.
Yep.
I mean, it's a shame when it happens. I mean, we know it's eventually going to happen, but it's just it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, now, Mike, just so you know, if you didn't know already, there is a Micro Center that you can easily get to.
It's in northern Jersey, I think. It's like
Patterson.
Maybe like and between you, me, and the lamppost, Patterson is not exactly a town that I am desperate to go to if I don't have to, and I'll kind of leave it at that. I haven't been there in years, so it may have gotten better, but the reality is there aren't many towns in Jersey that I want to go to, period. I want to get the hell out of Jersey.
It sounds like this is a place in a special part of Patterson, directly off the highway, in a special location of low taxes, and
Okay, so we have these things in New Jersey called economic redevelopment zones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they're called. County Enterprise Zone.
Okay, and basically any business in those areas, you pay half the sales tax you would anywhere else, which is great because there's a PC Richards in one not too far from here where you can go and buy your appliances or even mattresses now, I think. We got our garage fridge from there as a scratch and dent for half the price of what we would have paid in the store for like a no-name model. Thing still had all the tape on the drawers and everything, so it was great, and you pay half the sales tax. So,
yep. All right.
There's a benefit to going there, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Unless I absolutely had to.
We have a similar thing here in our town, except that they put places there and made the sales taxes much higher than normal. See if that makes any sense.
That's okay.
All right. Before we get into let's handle one more story here before we get into our movie review, because I know one of them is going to be a very short review. I do want to talk about this. So we'll just quick. Do we want to talk about the Catholic school or the RV? Pick one, Mike.
RV for next time. That might be a long discussion.
Oh wait, what? Okay. The Catholic school.
Catholic school. All right. So, because this is somewhat open and shut, right? So there's a story going around. 3 kids were kicked out of a Catholic school after a Sacramento mom's racy online pics surfaced. Now that's a mistitle. The mom was on OnlyFans, and some other parents raised up to the Sacramento Sacred Heart Parish School. that she was doing nude photo layouts on OnlyFans, and the school deemed that that did not fit along with their teaching and morals handbook guidance, so that her kids were no longer allowed to be in Catholic school. Now, we're not arguing that that the school has a right to do that. Obviously, they signed an ethics clause, and the school can do whatever they want. It's a private school, right? What I found interesting was one, that the parents that reported her didn't get anything done to them, which they never do. All right, so it's less interesting and more just, hypocritical, because you had to have been looking for her naked to be able to report her naked. So
this is true.
And then also, if you actually read the article, it's an interesting article, because what they're talking about here is the husband and wife had been married, she said, for I think 20 years, and they started to kind of get themselves into a rut in their relationship, especially in the bedroom. And so she started wearing sexy clothes for her husband, then they started taking a few shots for themselves, and then she wanted to feel better about herself, so she decided that she would post some online and see if anyone else found her desirable. And that fed into a thing. And she ended up making over $100,000 a month doing this. Now, she wasn't sleeping with anyone else other than her husband. She was just posting racy photos online. And I'm not going to judge her one way or the other for it. It's up to her and her husband to deem what they want to do, and who they want to show information to. I found it, the way that she spoke about it, it seemed very empowering for her. All right. I'm not going to say it would be empowering to everybody. Maybe not everybody would want their bits out there on the internet for folks to see. But in this case, people were paying to see them, so they obviously wanted to. And at $100,000 a month, I think they can probably pick a school that they want to send the kids to. So I think they're doing just fine. She went on the news and talked about this and was pretty happy with it and was going to continue doing it on. So, that's what I found interesting.
So here's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
She's making $100,000 a month from OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are some porn stars type people that are on OnlyFans. Like there's varying things, like depending on how much you tip is how much they'll do for you on camera. That being said, the fact that she's seems so okay about this, and it's like, my kids are going. How much more is she making now, thanks to the rest of the world
knowing? Yeah,
wanting to check this out. Right?
This was one hell of an advertising piece, because she went global with this story.
In fact, there's an email, I guess, that from the school, because I'm watching the video real quick here while you're talking, and an email from the school. There's a quote that just popped up on the screen, and it kind of aligns with what I'm thinking here. It says, "Your apparent quest for high-profile controversy in support of your adult website is in direct conflict with what we hope to impart to our students, and is directly opposed to the policies laid out in our parent-student handbook." Okay, so first one. If your handbook is that detailed that it says, if your child goes to school, you may not do anything pornographic.
You can't show your vajayjay on the internet to people who subscribe to it.
I want to know who the first one that did it, that made you have to put that rule in, is.
It was a priest. We know that.
Right. Number two, this is exactly high-profile controversy. Yeah, even if it's only a temporary boost. This probably got her another 6 figures a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's got nationwide coverage.
No, not just nationwide.
No, it's global.
Okay.
I guarantee she can now confidently say, "I am the mom next door." And trust me, that is a thing. So yeah, definitely.
But like you said, Well, I guess there's no morality code about surfing porn.
No, there should be. It's covet thy neighbor's wife.
Well,
in this case, it's covet.
Stacy's mom has got it going on.
Yeah, so but I mean, because that always gets me about these stories, right? The people who complained about it, nothing is going to happen to them. It's only the people that were doing it. And were they hurting anyone? Really? Were they actually hurting anyone? This woman didn't feel good about herself. She was entering into menopausal age, and she wanted to feel sexy again. So she got a bunch of strangers on the internet to say, "Hey, I do ya," and it made her feel good.
So here's the question: if all she was doing was posing in skimpy outfits and not performing any actual sexual acts on there, that's not really pornographic.
Well,
so
if she was performing anything, it was with her husband.
Okay, okay, but still, but the fact if you put that out there, that's still, and it's a members only website,
right?
So that furthers your point that you found her.
You paid to watch her.
Somebody paid to see it. Yeah, it's not like you could log on there and see without paying.
Yeah.
So it's the old adage, like you see the kids making fun of another kid. Oh, look at you wearing those Walmart sneakers, man, shopping at Walmart. Like, I saw you buying them sneakers. Mom made you picking out the cheap ones. What the hell were you doing in Walmart that you saw me there? Yeah.
And I guarantee her kids are not buying Walmart sneakers. Not at $100,000 a month coming in extra. I mean, they buying Gucci because of the hoochie.
Now, when you watch the video, the husband, when they're interviewing him, he has a windbreaker or whatever on.
It says Zoom.
It says Zoom. Right? So does he work for Zoom? And is he now in trouble?
I don't know. Either that or they got a sponsorship. He said we're gonna be on the TV. We're gonna make some money.
Or he got a bull. He got a. You know why she making $100,000? You know why she making $100,000 a month? Because if he worked for Zoom, they got a banging video streaming system.
Yeah,
she's the only one on OnlyFans in 8K high def. Okay, yeah. That's why she's making $100,000.
Yeah. I mean, but if you look through the video, I mean, obviously they're not going to show Cleve, on the news. So all you see is her in, racy little outfits and cheerleader stuff and stuff like that in the news story. But, if that's the worst that she did, then okay. Even if she did worse, who cares? She
looks like the bartenders that were at the Tilted Kilt over here in Jersey before the Tilted Kilt closed. Like the joke was the bartenders at Tilted Kilt were the ones that got rejected from Hooters because they were a little too old. So
yeah,
they still look good, but they just different demographic. That was the ongoing joke there. The waitresses, however, at Tilted Kilt were all like high school age, which was very friggin' disturbing when you went in there with friends who had kids in high school and they're like, "Oh, hey, mister." Oh, you know her?
So
can we please go to Captain Orange up there? Because, you don't know anybody there.
All right. It is now time to get into our double feature movie review. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the show, we take two movies based off of the recommendations from Amazon Prime, Netflix, YouTube, IMTV, you name it, and we watch them. We put them into a random number generator, and we watch them and tell you whether there's something that you should actually watch out there, that's a B movie, C movie, D movie, Z movie, and, we'll let you know whether it's worth your time and effort. It all started out, I got sick. Because I watched Cowboys versus Aliens, it recommended, hey, you should watch Cowboys versus Dinosaurs. And we thought, well, what would Siskel and Ebert have thought of this movie? And thus, a segment was born on our show. So we will rank the two movies for tonight between Puke and Schnikes. Puke being the worst, Schnikes being the best. And it is a very, very scientific scale that we use. One of these days we will actually publish it, and we will become bigger than Rotten Tomatoes. So we actually have a domain name that I have bought just for this project, but I have not put it up yet. Did you know that, Mike? I have a name for this. Yes, we have the name, and you're going to love this: streamingdiamonds.com. That's a good name. That's a good name.
It is a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Puke to Schneikes wasn't available?
I don't know. I'll have to see. If it is, you know who's buying it.
The problem is people need to figure out how to spell Schneikes. And there's going to be tons and tons of people who just,
Well, we're going to buy every variation.
Of Schneikes and putting porn pictures up. So it's streaming diamonds is much safer.
Streaming diamonds, yes, like diamonds in the sky. Because Diamond isn't like the most popular stripper name ever next to Cinnamon.
Well, we always talk about it that we're looking for the diamonds in the rough. So that's why I thought it was good.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Because everybody needs Aladdin.
Yeah. All right. So the two movies for tonight. One, very hard to find because there's so many of them called this. Frostbite ! And actually, Colin, you said it is called, like, this is the movie Frostbite or something like that?
Oh, wait a second.
No, it's called Frozen Nuts or something.
No. It is.
Folks, while Colin is looking that up, let me just say that there's a theme to these two movies.
What'd you say? You watched the wrong movie.
Movies.
I watched the wrong movies, or you watched the wrong movies?
What did you watch?
What did you watch?
I think I watched the last two movies on the list in general.
Oh, no. You didn't go to...
I think I was on the wrong sheet.
You were...
Did you watch a Mario Lopez movie?
Yes.
He did. He watched the wrong movies.
Well, I guess we already know what movies we're watching for next week.
Son of a... That's a hell of a way to sneak this in, you stinky bastard. So we got to watch these movies. Man.
What did he do to us, Mike? What did he do?
We got to watch the Mario Lopez and Eric Estrada rom-com called Husband for Hire and a vampire rom-com called Vamps. Really? It's bad enough. You know what? No, that's fine. That's fine. You know what? Even though this was unintentional, fine. Colin basically dictated the movies for next week. Shaggy, I know damn well that you picked these movies because there was titties and beer in both of them. So I am picking the movies for 2 weeks from now, and you all have you cannot say anything about it. There ain't going to be no damn random number generator. I'm going to go through the list, and I'm going to tell you which two I want to watch, and that's going to be the end of it.
Well, okay. I didn't purposefully pick the two, but okay, yeah, sure, why not? I cannot.
I will say, the Husband for Hire movie was originally from Oxygen. So you definitely should be watching.
You are not making this any easier on me, pal. You are not at all.
Okay, so Colin.
However, I am not going to say a word about Vamps.
Okay, so Colin.
I will watch these other two movies.
So it's going to be a two-person review this week, and then
next time I will say, do I agree?
Next show, Colin gets to give 4 reviews. All right. I will. Jeez, I cannot believe you did that.
That either.
All right. So I'll tell you what. I will go first, Mike, since you are still making list changes.
Oh, I'm going through the list right now. I'm going to tell you what we're going to be reviewing.
Okay. So I will start with Frostbite. How about that?
That's fine.
Frostbite. basic synopsis. An uptight lawyer goes back to his hometown of Fernie and tries to save his friend's business. It's a Western Canadian adventure with Sasquatch sightings, bikini pillow fights, and, of course, the Rangers. Maybe the Rangers. Okay, there's one Ranger, and then there's another forest ranger. And, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, 20 minutes into this movie, I looked at my wife and I said, I don't know that this is going to get any better. And she looked at me and said, I'm glad you said it first, because I was thinking this is a horrible movie, because we watched this together. She got off easy and fell asleep during it. I had no such luck. I watched this movie all the way through, and I wish I hadn't. There is not a lot good to this movie. It drags on for a long time. It uses a lot of common tropes. It is disjointed and horrible, and just, I don't know how it got 3.5 stars out of 5. All right, there is no way that this should have gotten that many stars. You know, there's a couple of good jokes here and there, all right, but they are spaced way far apart, and it's just not great. All right, the black guy is the only funny guy in the whole movie. And it's just terrible. So do me a favor, don't watch this Frostbite. Also, the other movie Frostbite that actually has porn actresses in it, all right, that is also another boob comedy, Frostbite. By the way, I watched it as well. Don't watch that one either. It sucks too. So combined, I have yet to find a Frostbite movie that it rates higher than a Verp. I am giving this Frostbite movie a Verp. Mike,
so I got a question, because now I'm wondering, did I watch the wrong movie? Did this one have Marty McSorley in it? The one you watched when we were supposed to what?
I used the link with IMDb. It was IMDb TV, so it had commercials during it.
Okay. Then yes, okay. So the first thing to note about this movie. Yeah. Make me full screen so you can see the freaking vein popping out. Yep. That's all right. First thing to note, both trivia items about this movie are due to nudity of actresses. Apparently, this was the first nude scene that one of them did. Good to know. First, that means she's done multiple after this. So the bitch boss lady, this is a heck of a switch from her former character as a nurse in The Good Doctor. So much so that I had to stop the movie and go and double check to make sure she was not one of the 2 nude actresses that the trivia thing was about, because that would have really messed with my head. Guys on the plane, I want to know what the hell kind of nipple shoots sideways. And how many damn analogies for a hairy female anatomy are we going to rattle off here? This is like an X-rated version of the dude in the bar rattling off what Deadpool looks like post-accident. Like, you look like an avocado had sex with another avocado. You know, they just kept rattling off. The dude in the pickup. This is dollar store Jason Sudeikis right here. Or maybe since this is from a movie in Canada, he's Looney Shop Jason Sudeikis. I don't know. Now we come to the whole reason that I agreed to watch this movie and did not use a veto. 12 inches of snow, baby. He is the man. Dude in the hospital is in a COVID tent in Canada eating a bucket of chicken in the hospital. Now they got snow in the back of the truck. Why would you not put a flare gun down when you want to take a picture? See, then they dump the snowman off at the hospital with the flare still burning. And all that happens is Snow becomes Ned from South Park, And then the boss, look, the movie went off the damn rails. That's all there is to it. We kind of expected that. But then we get the two dumbest things at the very end. First one, former NHL superstar Marty McSorley shooting fake poop to stop the guy from getting away. Shooting it like it's a hockey puck. Two, Snow singing his phenomenal hit Informer with the Informer, you know, so that was story like a blown, I like a brum down. This gets a burp. It would have been a burp, but Snow. This was a classic. Shaggy presents.
Oh. Shit. What the hell happened?
What happened?
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry.
What you do?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't do nothing. I hit the button. Okay.
You hit a button, and I saw Collins all of a sudden moving like this, and I'm zipping. I look like an old-time baseball movie.
Sorry. I hit a button to go back to this view.
This was basically, I don't know what happened, so it basically was Shaggy presents PTR's up for 76 hours straight.
Well,
that's all I have to say about that.
So this movie is also called, as Colin said, The Movie Out Here, Frostbite. Colin, you corrected us last show on this.
Yes.
So
why did I not remember that? Anyway, continue.
Yes. So I watched The Movie Out Here, Frostbite. I also watched the 2005 movie, Tracy Lords stars in Frostbite.
Oh. So basically, you had porn stars in everything you watched.
But what I was not able to watch, unfortunately, was the 2013 Frostbite ! Which is Clean Mountain Living Just Got Dirtier Frostbite, which I'm still trying to find somewhere. That way I can say I've watched everything except for the horror Frostbite films. And still trying to find the right one. Or the good one. Okay, now, next up, Last Call. Okay, so let me see if this will work. Okay. Last Call is surprising. All right. Last Call is a 2012, I want to say. Yes, 2012 version of Last Call, because there's a couple movies with share the same name. All right. Stars Travis Van Winkle. Also has Christopher Lloyd in it. And not just for a small cameo, but for a decent, cameo. Also, if you're into it, Tara Reid. All right. Less appearance of her. But this seems to be, I don't know if it's pre-crack or post-crack or what it is, but anyway, not on crack Tara Reid, it appears. This would have been like during Sharknado Tara Reid, I think, or pre-Sharknado Tara Reid. Pre-Sharknado Tara Reid. So this is a story of Phil and Danny O'Neill, who are forced to run the family pub after their eccentric uncle, played by Christopher Lloyd, gets arrested. Now the pub has gone into foreclosure along with the house that they live in, so they try to save it. This actually has like a ton of, that guy, like, little cameo things. Clint Howard's in it. David DeLuise is in it. Richard Riley's in it. Tom Arnold's in it. Dave Foley's in it. It's like, oh yeah, that guy. He's always in these little weird movies. And it's like, man, that was more people than I thought. And I do know that guy. It was actually stunningly a pretty funny movie. I mean, there was a lot of stupidity in it, but that's kind of what worked in its favor. I mean, it was from the same writer who wrote American Pie, Beta House, and The Naked Mile. So if you look at movies that are in that genre, okay, I won't say it's as good as American Pie. Don't get me wrong. But it's easily as good as Beta House and The Naked Mile. All right, so if you like those kind of movies, you will like this movie. This is not a family movie by any stretch of the imagination. If Mike thought that Frostbite had boobage in it, Last Call is like a full-blown, boob comedy. All right, if you yearn for the days of Ski School and Porky's and those, this is your movie. All right, this is your answer. All right, this will work for you. All right, trust me, it does its job. And it does it pretty well, too. There's a compelling story that goes along. There's character development. There's underage drinking. There's Christopher Lloyd just acting all kooky and weird, but he's not Doc Brown. He's somebody different, which is nice. And there's a lot of drinking because they're Irish, and that's what the Irish do. And so this one I really liked. I am going to give this a smile because that's what it deserves. Actually, I'm going to give this a chuckle, which is up from smile. That's what it deserves, is a good old chuckle. All right, Mike, you're up.
You are out your friggin' mind. Good Lord. First of all, Doc Brown is in this movie doing an Irish accent, trying to. Okay? It's downright sad. I mean, why did they... I get why they did it for the story, but you know what? It's painful as hell. It's just like... It ranks up there as bad as Kevin Costner's English accent in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The only difference is Christopher Lloyd was a little more consistent. He had a bad accent the entire time he spoke. It didn't just come in and out as he felt like it. Tara Reid shows up before she was a train wreck. So, yeah. And next thing I know, we're in Shaggy territory again with this movie because there's a sex scene and there's a whip and a mask and it turns out she's a dominatrix of some kind and whatever. Just for added effect, we have a DeLuise in the cast. Friggin' fantastic. And he plays a cop. Even better. And as we go on, I'm starting to feel like this is a dollar store version of PCU, or somebody saw Clerks and said, you know what, I can do that in a bar, because there's no way that they made this movie for more than $19,500. Yeah. It's one night. What could go wrong? Those are famous last words no matter where you are, whether it's a movie or a NASCAR track or a backyard barbecue or whatever. So at this event that they host, they say once you have 3 stamps, you are no longer allowed to get any more drinks or any more shots. What's to keep you from washing your hands? That's stupid. Parents show up. Tara Reid's parents. Awesome sauce right there. Great. So, the 2 main dudes are riding BMX bikes, and they pull up next to a hot chick in a convertible, and they're trying to hit on her, and she rolls up the window. Rolling up the window in a convertible while the top is down, that is the ultimate, basically just going, don't speak to me. Clint Howard. You know, Shaggy, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't point out that the star power that is Clint Howard was in this. And got to be a main character, not just some dude passing by in a role. Dad shows up and he's angry that there's a lot of people in the bar, and he's trying to burn down the newest titty bar in New York. Way to go, Christopher Lloyd. So the jump to conclusions guy from Office Space, who is such a people person, they decide to give him a lap dance, and the guy sends one stripper and his girlfriend. 36 strippers in the bar. He sends his girlfriend to give his friend a lap dance. ironically, this is one of the biggest flaws I have with this movie. Here, Shaggy, I don't understand how you gave this a chuckle. I gave this a verb. Oh, this took every bad drinking / bar cliche, put it in a blender with a shot of Jameson, and out came this crap after Christopher Lloyd drank what came out of the blender. Because that Irish accent was just no. Look, you might as well have had Tommy Chong in this trying to do an Irish accent, because it would have been more believable.
I look forward to Colin's review. Colin, are you so pumped up now?
No, wait.
Let me just. I will take my medicine. I will watch both these movies. Next time,
Do not watch these with the family.
No, you saved me from doing that at least.
No, I think that's punishment. Punishment for getting it wrong.
These movies we're watching, these two movies you two need to watch for next time. Shaggy, watch both with your wife.
Well, I'm gonna have.
Well, they're rom-coms.
I'm gonna have.
Of course,
her,
he's gonna.
I'm gonna watch Last Call with her. I'm gonna bring that up. I liked it so much. I'm gonna watch it again.
That's fine. Do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying for next show, I want to hear not just what you think. I want to hear what she thinks of both those movies.
I'm just saying, if Mama Blair's still listening, and if you want to get engine started, Last Call. It's just a private screening. That's it. That's all. Send Colin to the movies. That's all you got to do. And okay. Moving on. So we know what our next two movies are going to be. And then, Mike, did you say you already determined what the follow-ups were going to be?
All right. So I know what one of them is going to be. The other one, I got to see if I can find it somewhere before I say yay or nay.
Okay.
Because apparently it's not on. Let me see if it's still. No, it's unavailable now. Damn it. All right, so I got one picked out. I'll have another one picked out by the time.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that works. Okie dokie. So that is pretty much the show for tonight. Let's see here. We will be back on the 15th if everything works out according to plan. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in and playing along with us. Don't forget to check out your copy of the home game. It's important that you have that ready to go every episode for us. So you can also check out our social media channels at PTR Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. As well as don't forget to sign up for Twitch, YouTube, all that other stuff where we're at. It's at PTR Radio on all that stuff. That's got archives of all of our shows so that you can check out the video stream because, why wouldn't you want to look at these three handsome mugs while you're listening? Otherwise, you can check out the podcast. PTRradio.com has all the podcast feeds, so if you've got your player handy, you can sync to us, and then you can get the audio-only mix that way. Also, lots more information about the show, PTRradio.com. Eventually, that site will get redone as well, and we'll have a new look and feel. And we'll put all of our information regarding our movie reviews up there, too, so that you can see all the previous stuff. And you'll be able to sort and look, and it'll be awesome. One of these days, we'll get all that stuff done when we have time. Because, we're so busy with coronavirus and everything. So there's no real events coming up anytime soon. But we'll let you know when there are, and so that you can come out, get an autograph, and whatnot. But, until then, just try and stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, and, just be nice to one another and be considerate of those around you. That's really all that you can do right now. And if you do that, then you're one step ahead of some of the other jerks. So
doesn't cost anything to be kind.
That's right. So that's all I got. You guys got anything else?
I do not.
All right, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the Ape Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.